Y'all, my business is up 20% here at the shop. My net profit for Q1 was up 369%. I've got all the work my tech can do, and that's a problem. That's right, it's a problem. I'm not sure what to do about it. I have better quality problems than I had a year ago, that's for sure. But I'm going to ask you, the YouTube community, what do you think I should be doing about this? So if you are a shop owner, a car lot manager, an entrepreneur, a finance guy, let's get into this. Let me tell you what my problem is. All right, so let me start with, man, this is a good problem to have. I'm not unhappy in any way, shape, or form. As I mentioned in all my videos, this shop was somewhat non-profitable for 2024 and part of 2023. I just got disillusioned. I didn't want to own a shop. The more I withdrew, the more the sales declined. Didn't really realize how bad I let it get, but in November of 2024, I had a little epiphany. I'm going to chalk it up to the power of prayer. And after that, I kind of got after it. We had a mechanic change because we thought we were selling the shop. We got a different mechanic. He's worked out great. My old mechanic helped me find him, so I'm forever grateful there. We turned on our Google listing again, which, by the way, helps with revenue. I started a program of Instagram and Facebook campaigns that were free, and that's helped. So things have sort of turned around here. They've turned around to the point where, like I said, Q1 profits were up 20%. Q1 sales, gross sales up 20%, and the net profit was up 369%. The Q1 profit was decent in terms of dollars. No, you don't get to hear that. The big difference was we had a loss in Q1 of 2024. So anyway, now here's my situation. All right. I own two businesses on the same property, completely separate financially. Right now, I'm standing in one of the bays of my transmission shop, as you can probably guess, based on the fact that there's cars behind me. Anyway, I have one technician and I have a transmission builder. The builder builds for several shops. He gets paid by the piece. The transmission gets picked up by him. He brings it back. My guy installs it. So the guy that's here full time with me, he is paid a guaranteed wage, plus he's also paid what they call flag rate so that he can make more money. About 60-70% of the time he exceeds his minimum, which is great for him and also great for me, because if he's billing me hours, that means I'm billing the customers hours. So anyway, we are about at what his limit is. I don't know that he has much more in the tank to deal with my car lot stuff. So we've begun having the problem of we buy cars for the car lot, they need work, but we continually push them to the end of the line to take care of our customers' work. And I had at one point said, hey, what we're going to do is we're just going to make the car lot cars a ticket, and they're going to go in line with everybody else, and that's just how it is. But the reality is, I don't close out the ticket or pay the ticket for my car lot until that car sells, which might mean we fix the car, we get our title work squared away, we drive it enough to get it inspected, the car's up for sale, and it may last 1 to 2 weeks. So what that really means is it's probably going to be about 3 to 4 weeks by the time we've completed the work as the shop and we get to collect that ticket. So then I see customer tickets stacked up behind the car lot tickets that those people are going to pay me when their job is done. They're also going to pay me a greater margin than my car lot cars. So what do? Well, inevitably, we'll work on that car lot car later. Before long, it's been a week, 2 weeks, a month, and we keep pushing that ticket to the end of the pile because we're taking care of the car lot cars. I mean, the customer cars. So the car lot cars get backed up. I have literally 5 cars outside that I bought for my car lot that are not ready to sell because we couldn't get to it. Now, obviously, I realize this is a good problem to have, right? The problem is I need more help. But here are my concerns. And this is where I'd really appreciate people that have maybe fought this battle before, grown their business, can leave me some valuable feedback down below in the comments section. Maybe a like would be great too. I feel like we're on the verge of needing to hire someone. Now, whether it's going to be for the car lot side or the shop side, I'm not sure. But here's my dilemma, okay? We've only been in about 3 months worth of collecting decent money and building a cushion with some operating capital in the shop's account. That has done wonders for my stress, and I don't want to give that up. You know, they say people will fight harder to keep something than they will to gain something. And I think that subconsciously that must have been true. I was happy to grow that cushion, but I have this big fear of losing that cushion. So I don't know that I've got enough history at a higher volume that I'm comfortable taking on another employee, because, you know, once you hire someone, you know, now you're responsible for their livelihood. You're helping them, they're helping you. You don't want to hire them and then 2 months later go, hey man, it's slow, I got to cut you loose, because that's just going to cause upheaval in their world. The next thing is I have Josh, my mechanic, that's been here with me now for 4 or 5 months. Dude's doing a great job. I'm very happy with him. And I don't want to take money out of his pocket, right? If we brought in another guy, that guy's going to be on a guarantee. He's going to need work. If he doesn't reach his guarantee, then we pay out the guarantee. As we assign him jobs, those are jobs that wouldn't go to Josh. So is Josh going to then fall to his guarantee? I don't want 2 guys that are making their guarantee and that's it. And there's 2 reasons for that. The first reason is it's not fair to Josh that he's making money and I bring in someone that costs him money. I want it to be a compliment to the shop, not an adversarial role that now that this dude's here, I'm losing money. 2, guarantees are bad for the shop owner, because if you have 2 guys that only hit their guarantee, that means you've paid out hours of labor that you did not collect from your customer, and that drives your margin down. And I'm happy that we're now hitting the margins we need to be hitting, and I don't want to give that up. So those are kind of the reasons why I'm a little hesitant at this point to do it. But I also know that if we're going to grow beyond what Josh can do on the shop side, and if we want any hope of getting our car lot cars fixed quicker and up for sale, that we're going to need to do something. So hiring a guy for the shop is an option. Another option that we would have is to hire a mechanic for the car lot side. And we could find somebody maybe not as skilled as Josh is, that maybe works a little bit cheaper, that can do oil changes and brakes and drive to the tire store and get tires and, you know, tune-ups and plugs and things like that that the car lot cars commonly need. So we could bring somebody on in that capacity. But I don't have consistently enough work for someone like that to pay them $500, $600, $700 a week. And if they're not a independent contractor, if they're actually an employee, then we have the FICA match and things like that. I don't know if the car lot's ready for that. But then conversely, if the cars were getting fixed in a matter of a few days versus a few weeks and getting up for sale, then we would be selling more cars, which would make it more possible. But the average car profit is about $1,500. So I would need to sell, let's just say at minimum, 1 extra car a week to cover the expense of having that employee. That's 4 extra cars a month. I don't know. I don't know that justifies it. Another option is getting a gopher, somebody that will go for this, go for that. And they can wash cars, detail cars, run those errands, and get the cars basically ready for sale. Now, that person's probably $20 an hour, probably 30 hours a week, maybe. That's $600. Labor burden, they're at $700. I don't know. I don't know if that's the answer yet. So those are a couple of options. What do you think about those? Let me know down below. The third option is something that I tried once. It didn't really go great, but I think I'm going to try it again. And that is hiring a mobile mechanic to take care of the car lot stuff. I've talked to a few of them. The rates per hour that they charge are comparable to what I charge the car lot for the work that I do here at the transmission shop. So the cost is probably not much greater than the repair costs of doing it in-house. It is greater, but it won't be much greater. The mobile mechanic guys can come here and work. If we have a bay, they could use the bay here. If they want to do it out in the parking lot, I mean, they're mobile, right? So that's an option. Even if the cost is a little bit higher, I'm sort of leaning to this option because while the cost to fix the car will be a little higher, there is no cost incurred if there's no work. So if I don't buy cars fast enough, I don't have somebody standing around on the clock getting paid and I don't have work for them. I also don't have to lay them off because these guys understand the work is as needed. They'll get a W-2 or an I-9, an I-9. My God, they'll get a 1099 because they're working as needed as an independent contractor. Same thing with maybe somebody that will wash and or detail. And I don't know that I need a $300 detail. A lot of these cars I buy are, I don't want to say junkers, but my most expensive cars generally, I've been selling a few Ford Edges at the $5,500 range. But generally most of my cars are $3,000 or $4,000. So I don't think a $300 detail job is going to help or make a difference in the sale. But, wash it inside and out, smell pretty, clean the carpet if necessary, things like that. Absolutely, that would help. So I'm thinking of farming that out as well. And the reason that I want to farm these different types of positions out is that while it would cost me more money per car, it's about, for me, avoiding the liability of having these people on the payroll and then not having any work for them. So I'm by no means a Dave Ramsey disciple, but what I don't like is debt. The uncertainty of my first several years as an entrepreneur wiped out a lot of money, and it's really taught me to plan for the worst case scenario, to try to keep my expenses low and not go into debt over these things. So that's where I'm at. I'm looking at hiring probably a subcontractor to take care of the car lot. But I am curious, if you've grown a shop, grown a car lot, just really grown a business, at what point in the cash flow do you say, hey, it's safe to bring someone on, especially if it's a commission type system? I understand if you're hiring just office employees and they make 50 grand a year, the question becomes, do we have enough work that we can pay the 50 grand a year? Well, for me, it's similar. However, these guys are highly commissioned, if you will. And so we don't want to cut into their hours. We want to make sure that they grow, that they make money. And I also just don't want to take on that liability of the extra labor and not have the work for them. I guess the simple answer is, hey, dumbass, grow your business. Double your listing money on Google. Do more Facebook, do this, do that. And I'm up to hear any of those opinions. So if you have an opinion or a thought on it, I would love to hear from you. Thanks for sticking the video out this long, and we'll be talking to you soon. Thanks for watching.